Did you always like writing music? I mean, did you?
I was so scared of it. I'm still a little scared of it sometimes. Yeah. I was such a shy little girl. So shy. Like, my mom would just ponder, is she ever going to grow out of this? Like, I wouldn't go to a birthday party of my best friend unless she came in and stayed for half an hour to make sure I was okay. That's not even touching on trying to sing a solo at church, right? So it took me a long time. I mean, I was like a junior in high school before I even started singing in public, really. Wow. But I knew that I loved it. Yeah. And I would take my little tape player into my closet and I would sing Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey and didn't think anybody could hear me. But so my mom also knew. She said I would hum to my food. But I didn't start writing until even college. Okay. So it started with praise and worship for me, and I backed my youth pastor up in like their worship. And then I felt like I just released my heart because it was really a tension of, I love this so much. Could you really be saying that I can pursue this? Like, because this just makes me come alive. Like, could it really work that nicely that I could do this? And I just felt like God said, I'm that good. Like, I want to author your dreams. And, like, this is okay that you love this. Do it for my glory, not yours. And that's another story in itself. Just the wrestle of his glory, my glory, you know, loving it. And there's been a whole tension with that. It's just a dance almost. But, yeah, in college I started writing. And this project was really a stretch for me, too, because I'd only been writing for a year or two when they said, okay, start a record. I was like, all right.
Was that a complete surprise? I mean,
yes. I went to college to pursue music, struggled a lot with I had done praise and worship, and I'd backed up my youth pastor, and I trusted his heart. And so it was really easy to just enter into worship, you know, singing with someone that I really trusted, and it was just praise and worship. And when I went to college, I started writing a little bit. I was in a band, and I was writing some of the music from, you know, my viewpoint. And so it quickly became a little distorted. And instead of being on a stage leading people in praise and worship, I was singing like at a rock and roll show or a club. And it was really easy to go, you like me, like I'm awesome, and you're singing my song that I wrote. And it was really, at 18, I didn't handle it very well, and I became really proud. And that good old mom of mine looked at me once and said, I don't like who you've become. She said, I don't think that this is what the Lord had. And she said, I wouldn't mind if it was taken away from you. Like harsh words, but really where I was at, my identity was wrapped up in being on a stage. Yeah. And God really did take it away. He gave me a lot of opportunities to step down, and I just didn't. And so he said, okay, this has become for your glory, and I'm a jealous God, and for your own good. I mean, I had a pretty nasty, humbling fall in front of my college campus. Yeah. The band asked me to leave, and once I had this new perspective of, who am I? Like, how did I let that happen? I just associated music that I could never stand on the stage again. And so I said, well, I'm never doing music again. And I ran off to Africa and Guatemala, and I traveled the world and changed my major. And so for 2 years I didn't touch music. And in many ways thought that was my noble act of surrendering it. But I was running from it in some ways. And I mean, God used that season for me to grow and see the world. But my junior year, he just kind of whispered, you're still running. You haven't surrendered this. And I have a journal entry where I just said, you know what, I just have to be honest with my own heart and you that I still love this, but I don't know how to get started again because I've run so far and I don't want to become what I had become. And so I just pray that I'll try and be faithful to walk through a door if you open it. And about 4 hours later, after that just intimate time with the Lord, there was a Battle of the Bands that I wasn't signed up for, but I was just watching, and a band was stuck in traffic and couldn't make it, so they needed a filler. They threw me up there. I won. The prize was playing a music festival 2 weeks later, so I scrambled in 2 weeks and threw a band together. I played this music festival, and Toby Max Bless had just come in, and he heard me and said, who's that girl? And later introduced himself to me,
Wow.
my childhood idol, who I just couldn't wait to meet anyway.
I know.
And then he's talking to me about a record deal, and I hadn't
Yeah.
done music in 2 years. It was this whirlwind. It was a snowball effect.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, this is it. Like, it's happening. And,
Wow.
you know, even still, that was 4 years ago, and my record just came out in December. So it's been a journey, but it's been this constant, your agenda, not mine.
Yes.
Your vision, not mine.
That's right.
And so a lot of times it just boils down to God just whispering, do you trust me or not? Do you trust me or not? This isn't what you expected, but am I good or am I not? You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and you mentioned Guatemala because that
Yeah.
really changed your life. In fact, didn't you also meet a child that you were sponsoring?
not on that trip.
Okay.
I went to Guatemala.
El Salvador. was
Yes.
it? Okay.
Mhm. I went to Guatemala my sophomore year of college, and that was it was a missions trip, and it gave me a lot of perspective. I really believe that when you're struggling with yourself and pride and, you know, identity, that sort of thing, serving is the cure, because it's not about you. It's the giving of yourself and, you know, the pouring out and meeting of others' needs. And it changed my life, going and seeing the need and then helping with what little I could, you know, to build a stove in somebody's home and haul cinder blocks up a mountain. But until I got my fingers dirty and, you know, saw it outside of like a slideshow at church, it really birthed something in my heart. And I came back into the States and said, you know what, that wasn't quite enough. I think I'll go to Africa. So I went to Africa for a semester abroad, and God just continued to sort of expand my understanding of this world that He made. And even just culturally going over there was such we've made it as Americans. And then to learn and live with them and walk with them for 4 months, to go, we're in a very different place, but that doesn't mean we're right. And so somewhere we can learn from them and they can learn from us. And so not even knowing that I had that perspective, and then having it sort of becoming aware, and then coming back to the States, I can't claim ignorance anymore. Like, I've seen it. I've lived it. My feet were in the dirt, and
Was it red dirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
And
our feet, we went and our feet were stained for months.
Yeah. Oh, we wore flip-flops everywhere, and I
so did
swear. Oh, so.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah. So that in many ways, up until this last trip I took to El Salvador, that was the season when I wasn't doing music. And then I came back, and then it's been so driven trying to get this started and this career and the music and the ministry. And it was just in December that I partnered with Compassion and got to go to El Salvador and meet Mariela, and she's my little girl I sponsor. And so it was the first time where the two worlds sort of merged, like as a Compassion artist, to go to it borders El Salvador borders Guatemala, so it's very familiar, and it really kind of gave me a lot of hope and almost a new vision. Like, I can merge these two worlds and these two experiences, and God can use one to
That's right.
just in a marriage almost. So two very separate parts of my heart are now uniting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.